welcome back.
Hey, it's another one of these episodes.
Woo woo.
Just us. As we promised, once a month. And we're keeping to it because we like doing it.
The way of healing.
Welcome back to another episode on the Wave Healing Podcast. OJ here.
Kasey here.
And we're going to talk about whatever comes up today.
It could be lots of things.
Yeah, there's a lot going on today, like Kasey's voice.
Maybe we'll do a 20-minute silent meditation. Psych.
Our second podcast in the new space, Next Level Holistic Healing here in Santa Monica.
Heck yeah, this space rocks.
Yeah, we'll let you guys know when the grand opening is, and it's going to be great. Go for it.
Well, just in the last few days since we recorded the last time here, there's no new walls that sprung up that are dividing two saunas.
Yeah.
There's two sauna rooms.
Two sauna rooms. We're going to have a cold plunge, compression pants.
Whoa, compression pants. Why don't we talk about compression pants?
Compression pants.
Tell us about, is that like compression socks? I imagine many of our listeners have heard of compression socks.
Not like compression socks at all.
Cool.
So the compression pants, they're essentially these big sleeves you pull onto your legs.
Made out of what-ish? Are they like crinkly?
They're crinkly.
Are they like the marathon material?
No.
No, they're not thermal.
I don't know what they are. But they air comes through them and they squeeze and compress your legs.
Oh.
In a systematic way that's supposed to help flush.
Wait, are they electronic?
Mm-hmm.
You have to plug them in.
You have to plug them in.
Wow. So you could put compression pants on and then get under an electric blanket.
This is true. We're going to have chairs. There's going to be like a little lounge, like a healing playground, you want to call it.
Oh, that's a sweet name.
Mm-hmm. Cold plunge. Did I say that yet?
Yeah.
Yeah, cold plunge. So you can do hot, cold therapy.
You can come into OJ's room.
This is my room.
He's doing some really cool work in here.
Yeah, I actually worked on Kasey for the first time.
In a long time. We worked on each other in bodywork school.
In bodywork school, not quite this stuff, I don't think.
No.
Yeah.
No, but I always knew you were up to other things.
Yeah.
OJ's work is great.
Thank you.
It's deep and it's slow and it's, what's the word that I want? Not immersive, but, when I think of it, I'll shout it out and it'll be at a random time. Penetrative, right? That's kind of what I mean. But it's but he's very sensitive, so it's a very good balance of things.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I reached out yesterday and I was like, OJ, help. I'm a mess. My body is, I don't know. I just got like smacked by something. Had to do with me staying in a moldy house and having too much gluten. Really, I know. Laugh away. But the more sensitive we get, the more in tune with our bodies we get, the more our body lets us know when we're making precarious choices, shall we say? It's like, oh, okay, you want to eat the whole bag of brownies? Well, you're going to pay for that. So I'm paying a little bit. Still great, though. It's also a really good opportunity to gauge when and how we need to work with whatever is showing up, right? I don't think that I would have been any better off had I stayed in bed the entire day yesterday and canceled my client list and, not done what I needed to do. But I actually was in a really good place and I was able to gauge how much was too much and how much was just enough.
Yeah. It's also a good example of self-care.
Yeah, I still went to bed mad early. I stayed really hydrated. I find that in these times, I'm sensitive to temperature. More sensitive, right? It kind of like dials up, no pun intended, the thermostat or just the sensitivity on the thermostat. So the difference between a cold drink and a warm drink is a lot. Yeah. It's more than normal. So I asked a client for some hot tea.
Very cool.
Okay, anyway, this Kasey is boring right now. What do we have here? We got some oils over here.
Essential oils, which are always nice. If you guys haven't listened to our latest podcast, the last one we did last week, it's pretty cool.
What did we do last week?
The past lives.
Amy Bello.
Yeah, I think out of everything that we've touched on so far, that one might be the most, is metaphysical the proper term?
Interesting. Potentially. I mean, it seems to align well with Linda
It does.
and
It
Akashic
does.
Records.
This is true. Akashic
Yeah.
Records is pretty out there.
My left ear is going in and out, not my ear, but the actual headphones. So it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely a metaphysical element of, hey, there's more going on below the surface here. And it's just a willingness to open yourself up to it, right? There's no harm, no foul. It's just, okay, there are things going on that are not tangible, that we don't touch and see, and they're not man-made, right?
Yeah.
But man isn't man-made.
True.
I think about that sometimes.
Very cool.
Yeah, man isn't man-made.
The it's interesting because it's goes against everything we're taught, I guess, about how, well, not everything we're taught, and I'm not speaking about everyone in particular, but religion, Christianity, Catholicism specifically talks about you're born, you die, you go to heaven. And then some people believe that we just die. I had a conversation about that the other night with this kid who was very knowledgeable and very in tune and very um, well versed in like self work and tuning in with himself and looking at situations and dissecting the meaning behind all these things, but he didn't believe in God. It was like, to me, God's not a thing, which is an interesting thing.
What was his history with that? Like his exposure?
I'm not completely positive, but he was just like, I just don't think God exists. And he was talking about how everything was science based, essentially, like there was a big bang and everything came together and eventually we were born. But he, talks about a higher power, but doesn't name it God, which is interesting. And,
Yeah.
it's just perspective. And
You
we're
don't
not,
have to name it God.
yeah,
You can name it science.
yeah, you can
God
name
is
it.
science, as God is science, as God is science, as God is science.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And we're not saying that, listen to the podcast or read the book and you'll believe in past lives, or have an Akashic Records reading and you'll believe in Akashic Records. Like, just explore what's out there and have fun with it because it's cool stuff. And then create your own perspective from that.
Create your own perfect glandular health. I'm reading some of the posters that OJ has up on his wall.
Well, yours was eliminatory.
I know, I just wasn't going to tell everyone.
Mm.
No, he did this really cool thing where he tested my cervical spine and he chose a couple of different points along the ridge of my occiput, the base of my skull. And it was about tenderness, and the different points of tenderness correlate to different body systems. So, where I was most tender has to do with my elimination, which is interesting given the fact that I'm stuffed up, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, not eliminating in the rhinal cavity. Tried the Neti Pot, right? Ancient Ayurvedic tool. I'm not sure what that did, really. I'm not anti Neti Pot. I'm not pro Neti Pot, but certainly after I did the Neti Pot 2 nights ago, it seemed to bring on a tsunami. So, just something to be mindful of. It's good to stir the pot. Sometimes you stir it and stuff splashes outside of it.
Yeah.
So
I used to use the Neti Pot all the time.
how often? Because I was reading up on it. Once I was like, I don't know what that was all about.
Well, when I was living in Northern California, I had really, really, really
Bad allergies.
bad allergies.
It's not you, Northern California. It's him.
No, it was Northern California, Central Valley, farms,
Farms.
and all the dust and the pollen
Yay,
and
farms.
and the chemicals in the valley.
Yeah,
And
hanging out there.
Yeah, I used to give myself pink eye as a
Oh,
kid,
interesting.
just so I can go home from school early.
What?
Yeah.
OJ, are you sure you want to tell the story on air?
I'm going to tell it.
How did you give yourself pink eye?
I would just rub the heck out of my eye until like it turned pink and this protective film started coming on over my eye.
And then you would ask somebody to spit in your eye?
No,
No.
no. I would tell them to wipe their. No, just kidding. And I would go to the teacher, and then I'd have this like
Right.
swollen eye. It's like I gotta
And
go
they'd
home.
send you home?
Yeah, and I'd go home and play video games.
Wait, and what did this have to do with allergies?
It usually was during allergy season. Um, but yeah, going back to the Neti Pot, I used to use it like once, sometimes twice a day to flush out all that jazz. And I actually didn't know about it until I left Stockton. I was living in Daly City, and client comes in, and she was, my allergies were acting up. Not as bad as Stockton, but they were there. She's like, "Oh, have you tried a Neti Pot?" It's like, "What's a Neti Pot?" So I ran over to Walgreens and purchased a Neti Pot, and it helped.
Walgreens, did you hear that? You're welcome.
Mm-hmm. What you got there?
Here, Oj, this is frankincense. Wait, give me your left hand.
So apparently the left hand is the receiving hand. So whenever someone gives you something, they give from their right and you receive with your left.
So the left side is the yin side of the body. The right side is the yang side. We're working with some frankincense here. It's good for baby Jesus. Right? Next week I'm bringing myrrh. Watch out.
Myrrh.
Dude, myrrh has an intense smell. I don't even know how to describe it. Frankincense it's incensey, fittingly.
It's a powerful.
Frank incense. Frank's
Powerful.
incense. How about Howard's incense? How about Tom's incense? All right, so frankincense. And then let's add to that. We're gonna layer today with essential oils.
It's great. It's a royal. It's a royal oil.
Yeah,
royal
a
oil.
royal oil. It's a royal. Just don't be roiling.
Left hand. Duh. I used it during my ayahuasca ceremony.
Oh, okay.
Apparently
that's cool.
Yeah.
I didn't use it during my ayahuasca ceremony.
Maybe next time.
Yeah, maybe next time. This is Dreamcatcher. I offered this to a client yesterday, and she was like, "Is there licorice in there?" I think there must be. Fennel.
Sounds like it.
There's a lot of things in here. So whatever our dreams are, let's put them into this next few minutes.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, I know.
What are your dreams with this podcast, Kasey?
Oh, my goodness. Well, this podcast is taking us in the direction of our dreams. So where we're going with it is exactly where we want to go. And it's exposing large numbers of people and different modalities that maybe don't have a voice. We're giving a voice to those modalities. Even if I'm not at full voice, it's still going to get a voice. So traveling. Bless you, OJ.
Thank you. Excuse me.
That's good. What'd you just let go of?
My dreams.
No, get them back. It's funny. Sometimes people.
Or the things that weren't serving my dreams.
Oh, there we go. Perfect. Perfection. Yeah. In bodywork school, this is a quick aside. You learn that things like sneezes, belches, hiccups,
gyrating.
Right. Twitches.
Farting.
Yep. What he said. All have to do with the body releasing something. And so, you'll see it in animals and they shake off tension. Humans are doing the same thing.
Alex talked about it.
Alexander Hill.
Yeah, about the gazelle. If the gazelle gets away from the predator, it'll spend the next few minutes like shaking vigorously.
It's like a reset button.
Releasing the trauma.
And I had a great experience with an animal recently. If anybody has animals that are, they want some work on. This animal is a dog, a small dog, and then we'll get back to our dreams. But they're manifesting and we're manifesting right now. I'm going to let them cook. So I was working with a dog, and this dog has had back surgery. Okay? Surgery for anybody is a traumatic experience. You're going under general anesthesia, so your body is no longer in charge of its own systems. Somebody is cutting you open, right? And proceeding to do things that the body wouldn't do itself. So this is traumatic in the animalistic sense of things. So it's had spinal surgery, some kidney and bladder issue also with this dog. So plenty of trauma. And he's older in age, and he's like a little Yorkie mix, silky terrier. So I noticed one day when I was working with him, and there was a blanket nearby, that he was like putting himself near the blanket. So I then helped the blanket. I helped him with it, and I sort of covered him in the blanket. And then I pulled it back to check on him, and he was like, "No, put that back," right? In his doggy way. So I covered him back over, and within maybe 2-3 minutes, he was having a deep process of his trauma. So what people often think, a lot of pet owners will say, "Oh, the dog is dreaming or the cat is dreaming." And yes, there is dreaming, but there's also the processing and the release of trauma. And so there was whimpering, and there was like whining, and there was all of these things that was the dog's way of releasing trauma. And the dog needed this sort of cover, needed this darkness, needed this womb-like experience to be able to do that. So that was very cool. It was kind of an unexpected part of my day. I didn't know that we were going to get, a bunch of dog trauma work. Back to our dreams.
Yeah, so Kasey works on pets.
Yeah.
If anyone needs it. Back to our dreams. We've talked about this before, but it's nice to repeat. But we're going to take this to video outside of YouTube very soon.
We love you, YouTube. We love you, audience.
We do.
We're traveling with it.
Kasey, I'll let you talk about Ghana, but I
ain't gonna talk about Ghana. Anybody who knows me has heard me talk about Ghana, so yeah.
I want to do a documentary in the Philippines.
On what?
It's called Hilot. It's an ancient Filipino modality of healing. I just found out recently there's an entire island in the Philippines of healers.
Starts with an S.
Starts with an S. It's an entire island.
It's like the place to go to learn Filipino healing.
So, yeah.
We're going to try and find our way there. Do you think I can pass as Filipino? I'll learn Tagalog. I'll do whatever it takes.
She'd probably learn it before I could. But yeah, we're going to take it. We're going to go document the whole thing. We're going to
learn the modality ourselves.
Learn the modality. We're going to learn the history. We're going to bring to light these healers that are helping people out there.
So we're going to start there, likely. We're going to get there regardless. But we want to do this with as many cultures and as many different healing practices and modalities as this podcast and this journey and these bodies will allow. That's the vision for this podcast.
Yeah. Kalari healing.
Kalari, we're coming.
We're coming. She invited us over to her ashram in Australia.
Yeah.
That's on our list. Ghana.
Ghana's going to be very exploratory because I don't know any bodywork modality in Ghana. If anyone out there listening knows a bodywork modality, a healing modality that doesn't involve, well, I'm familiar with ones that involve like herbalism, but not bodywork. So I'm open. Otherwise, we're going to just have to go on a mission to find it, which would be very interesting.
Sounds cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we interview people on the podcast, and it's the people doing the groundwork, right? The healers that are in the trenches, that are helping the everyday person to find health. And there's cool people out there. There's doctors. There's these amazing healers that have healed and helped thousands of people, which is cool. We want them on the show too, but we also want the everyday person that just wants to help people like ourselves. Like we do this work because we feel like we've been called to it, and we do it from a place that's pure, and like we really just want to help as many people as we can.
I want to tell a funny story.
Yeah, go for it. Funny story.
No, I mean, only if you're done.
I think I'm done.
It's just a funny, quick aside. No, now I don't want to tell it. The moment passed. But here, have some peppermint. We're going to layer peppermint on top.
Peppermint wakes you up.
In the left hand, yeah. We need a little. Did you get something?
I did not.
Little invigoration here. Peppermint is great if you are, if you have anything bronchial. Also, it will just cut right through.
Oh boy.
Oh boy, says OJ.
Just Young Living.
Yes.
Young Living essential oils are very potent.
Yeah, the peppermint especially.
And Dr. Nick is doing a tour around the country these next coming months. So if you listen to his podcast, if you follow him on Facebook, he's going to be in LA in October. We're going to try to do something with him. So we'll see.
So you can breathe the peppermint in through your nose and your mouth. Just don't get it in your eyes.
Or on your private parts.
And you will feel that it lingers in the body, right? Because there's scent molecules that we are inhaling. Yes, we can't see them, but we know that they're there because they stay there after we take our hands away. Mm-hmm. Proof of science is God, is science is God, is science.
Potent stuff. I use it a lot. My family lives in Northern California. We're out here in LA. And whenever I drive, it's a 5-6 hour drive. And so we leave at night usually, and when I feel myself getting a little drowsy, I'll put a little peppermint on my temples, on my neck, breathe it in, and it really helps.
Really wakes you up. Mm-hmm. We used to huff it in pathology and contraindications, right? Mm-hmm. Ivan would pass it around after we went through chocolate.
Yeah.
Maybe it was anatomy, physiology too. I know because you were there. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So layering the peppermint on top sort of brightens the whole thing, picks it up. The funny story just has to do with a pure heart. You were talking about our work being pure, and I used to tell a boyfriend of mine that my armpits didn't smell because I had a pure heart. I know, kind of funny. There, I just told everyone that, but it was just a cheeky little thing.
I haven't smelled your armpits, so.
Okay, so speaking to that, because we can do that, hasn't everybody noticed that so much of it is dependent on several factors? Mm-hmm. 1, diet. 2, stress levels. 3, for women, where you are in your monthly cycle. There's just so many things, right? Like depending on how many environmental toxins you already have inside your body's going to deflect things more or less, right? It's like coffee. If you drink coffee, if you are attentive to it, you can smell it in your urine. Or asparagus for those who have that experience. Same thing with your sweat, with your glands, because it's processing fairly quickly and pushing it out. So that's all I have to say about that.
Glandular health.
Use deodorant sparingly. I'd like to say that. Try and take days off. Try and shower and don't immediately throw it on there. Let your body breathe. The skin is the biggest organ, people. I'm saying that again. The skin is the biggest organ in the body. The skin. So all those chemicals that you're spraying, all of those, fine, wear makeup, put on creams and things, but know your ingredients, because the more shit that you put on your body, the more shit your body has to produce, and then the more shit it has to release. So you're kind of taxing your system if you're constantly bombarding it with chemicals. Mm-hmm. I like to use essential oils because it's pure plant extract, and it smells good, and it has medicinal properties. Other than that, it's like coconut oil and, a couple other oils thrown in there from time to time. But when you start to clean out your medicine cabinet or your vanity or your whatever you store your things in, your system becomes more sensitive. So like my nose, my sense of smell has gotten stronger as I've cut more of the BS out. Because anything that you're using that has bleach in it, and this isn't to say that I never use bleach, but I use it very sparingly and I dilute it always. We don't need to hit everything with the highest intensity of bleach, right? Vinegar water works great.
Mm-hmm.
Vinegar water, easy peasy.
White vinegar.
Yeah, white vinegar, fill the rest with water, and then you spray it, and guess what? The odor of vinegar dissipates as it dries. So you're using something that you can ingest safely. I mean, I don't want to spray my kitchen counters with bleach and then put food on it. Anyway, about the bleach thing, it numbs your senses.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll notice if you are cleaning with bleach, just take in some of the smells and then use the bleach, and then notice that your smell has been dimmed, it's been muffled, and it takes a while to regain. So just, there's consequences, there's things to be aware of. So don't do it just the same way your mom did it or your dad or your grandma, just because, yeah, they've given you a good introduction, and it's your job, it's your soul's work to take that and bloom it in a new way, develop it, right? Clean it, fine tune it. That's what we're all doing.
Yeah. And again, it's going back to probably the things the way they were before science decided to create all these chemical compounds, just like organic food, how like organic food was how food was in the beginning.
Ironic that it's more expensive with less chemicals.
Yeah. And then science came and did a whole bunch of stuff to it, changed it,
But
added
it's not science,
pesticides.
it's man's application of science.
True.
And then it's man deciding that science should be, let's see, how do I want to say this? That it's somehow more important than recognizing nature, right?
Mhm.
As opposed to it's an accompaniment or supplement or a way to support nature. It's like, no, we're wiping out nature and we're going to replace it with science. Well, guess what? Where do you think chemical components come from? Constituents. They come from plants.
Mhm.
Most of the pharmaceuticals out there have plant derivatives when you trace it back and trace it back and trace it back. Like when I work in the hospital, I have to ask patients, and many of them are, if they're taking a blood thinner.
Mhm.
Because when I go in there with my oils, wintergreen essential oil has the similar effect on the body, right? It augments it. The wintergreen molecule is what they worked off of to develop blood thinners. So you're amplifying the blood thinner when you add the wintergreen to it.
Mm.
So don't be afraid of going back to Mother Nature, because it's where it all comes from
Mhm.
in the end, in the beginning, and anywhere along the line.
Yeah. Mic drop. Save the Amazon.
This is my co-host. Aren't I lucky? He's a good one. So I'm getting the thumbs up on the table. I know that means that we're good. We're in a good place.
Great place.
I think we wish you all well. Some of these crystals are gifts from some of our previous guests. We've got selenite here. Thank you,
Mhm.
Lindsay Kimura. And we've got bloodstone from Amy Bello. Good for circulation. Again, look into these things.
Yeah.
They're interesting. Maybe they have something for you. Yeah.
guys-
Tell us about your citrines.
My wife gave me the citrines
Janae.
for our anniversary and for opening this space. So she blessed it with citrine.
Yeah, it is blessed. I'm sorry, I forgot the orchid.
No. Yeah, the orchid's over there. Jackie, great friend. Yeah. Gave me an orchid. It was like is it a housewarming? Is it a space warming? Thanks, Jackie.
It's beautiful, and it really matches our tapestry, the
Yeah.
current tapestry. Watch out, this is going to change.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm told.
She knows.
I like it.
It's sitting right behind the camera, actually. It's ready. But yeah, this we're still working on decorating. We're still working on putting things together. But when this space comes together, it's going to be pretty cool.
So nice.
And Kasey may be doing craniosacral out of here. Doing her work out here. So
cool.
yeah.
Maybe some animal work. I have some really young clients too. I think I mentioned that recently. 2-week-old baby, craniosacral. Uh-oh, the drills are coming out.
There's the cue.
That's our sign. We love you, listeners. Thanks for
Thank you,
tuning
guys.
in. See you soon.
Bye.